What's up? It's Chris with Subliminal Acquisition, and in this video what I want to talk about is how you can get more mixed clients right now. So I know that's kind of the premise of any video about how you can get more mixed clients, but it's a specific angle that I want to take, and basically the key is here, we have a suggestive emoji here, work right where you are, not where you are not. So it sounds like the most stupid, most obvious thing ever, but I have a point to make here. So a quote from Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, is as follows, right? Act now. There is never a time but now, and there will never be any time but now. If you are ever to begin to make ready for the reception of what you want, you must begin now. And your action, whatever it is, this is the most important part, must begin must most likely be in your present business or employment, and must be upon the persons and things in your present environment, right? So I'm going to get into specifics in a second, but the essential idea is that instead of waiting for someday when you have 4,672 client testimonials, a Batcave size studio like I have right here, like a sick ass thing, super cool, sound better, right? And you got your Grammy nomination, but you want to capitalize as aggressively as possible on what you do have. Don't focus on what you don't have, right? So I'm going to cover a few specific examples of how to do that in a minute, but let me, again, give you the broad strokes. So here I have the Batcave size studio. You don't need this or a picture like this to start getting mixed clients now, right? You don't need, like this guy has a pretty good, he's a Grammy award winning mixer. So he's got like a really good looking sound better. He's got like a solid amount of reviews. And, Amy Winehouse, like a really famous singer, really famous artist, and a bunch of other artists that are like really killer. You don't have to have this. You just have to have a really solid offer, and you have to really just put your best foot forward with what you do have. You can only grow from where you are. Quit complaining about where you're not, about what you don't have, about what you can't capitalize on, because you can't go there. Okay, so he has some great reviews here. So you might not have a ton of great reviews like this guy has, but if you have one or two or a few, that's great. Like, how can we capitalize on that, and how can we use that to the best of our ability to kind of wring the juice out of that, or like squeeze the juice out of that lemon or orange or whatever, right? So it seems completely obvious when I put it like this, but most of us actually fail at this point or on this point. So often we will focus on what we don't have at the expense of taking the opportunities that we do have. So this is a matter of focus which goes deeper than this main concept, and this can apply to really any area of your life. But right now we're talking about in terms of business and client acquisition for mixing and master engineering, right? So if you want to get spiritual and hippie about it, this is how the law of attraction basically works, something you probably heard about. You must focus on what you do want rather than what you don't. And things grow. Like where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're focused on cultivating something that's already there, and building that and growing that, more is going to come of that. Whereas if you focus on what you don't have, you're just going to always be chasing people away because you're like, oh, I don't have all these testimonials. I don't have all these high profile credits and so on, right? So if you want something to grow, focus on that thing. So focus on that thing. Focus on your social media getting better. Focus on your testimonials getting better, and grow rather than chase. Instead of focusing on all the clients you don't have or the studio gear that you want to buy eventually, appreciate the projects you've worked on, the testimonials you want, and the gear that you've gotten to your current level. And I'm not just saying, although this is cool too, I'm not just saying I'm so happy and grateful about this thing, although that's cool too. I mean a kind of a practical, embodied appreciation. So made this meme, focusing on the clients I don't have, capitalizing on the projects I've already done, right? You don't just appreciate things by sitting there with a smile on your face and showing gratitude. Like, you show gratitude through your actions, right? Like, not some like cheesy affirmations and so on, although that's fine too, and that has its place, right? So this means taking opportunities, putting yourself out there, right? So how can you best present your current testimonials that you have? They may be few, they may not be high profile, but how can you best present them right here and now on your sound better, on your social media, on whatever it is that you use to present your products and services, right? So do you have text, audio, or hopefully video testimonials? Where can you put them? How can you best display them and get them in front of other prospective clients right here and right now? Okay. So how can you get the best sounds out of the current gear that you have? How can you push yourself to capitalize on both the recording software and hardware that is available to you? What kind of rack gear do you have? What kind of guitar pedals do you have? Like, get creative, get scrappy, get like pull up your bootstraps, so to speak. Like, we're bootstrapping here. It's like, what do we have? How can we get the most out of that? Instead of focusing on what we don't have, how do we get the most out of that? What's the best content that you can post today? Don't focus on, what kind of content could I post eventually? Like when I get on Mix with the Masters, and I have like some super high profile tutorial that I end up doing that's like in a fancy, like it's La Fabrique or something. I think in France is the one they do a lot of stuff at Mix with the Masters. And it's like, if you're not there yet, that's totally fine. But you get there by bootstrapping, by doing the best that you can with what you have right now. Don't not post content just because it's not on the level of Mix with the Masters. Like, do something right here and right now. So can you do tutorials? I talked about in my last video, I talked about doing tutorials with OBS Studio and high resolution tutorials for mixing and mastering. Could you give advice, mixing advice, production advice, mastering advice, something that you're ahead of your prospective client base at? You don't have to be world class in something to give advice. You just need to be 1, 2, or ideally 2 or 3 steps at least ahead of your target audience. You don't have to be the best in the world at that thing. You just have to be ahead of the people that you're helping. And if presented correctly with the correct offer and so on, they will be happy to give you money to help them with that thing. In this case, it would just be straight up doing the mixing and mastering for them because you presented yourself in a good way, and they want to throw down some cash with you and work with you because they like your taste. You can also do humorous content. I actually have a good friend who I'm gonna make myself bigger. I have a good friend who actually posts a lot of really funny content, and that got him a ton of work. And he recently hit his first song with 1 million streams on Spotify, and he's doing amazingly. That's Cole himself. I'll just shout him out. That's a good friend of mine. So you could be doing some kind of demonstrating your skills. You could potentially be, film like a recording session that you're working on. And what's the best camera that you have? Do you have a webcam? Do you have your phone camera? Do you have some kind of ring light? Like, for example, I'm traveling right now. I'm in the UK. I don't have my regular ring light. I just have like a travel ring light. Like, I'm bootstrapping. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And that's totally fine. I'm still able to provide value to you. And you can provide value to your prospective clients the same way. It's like, what is the best camera you have available to you? You don't have a $5,000 DSLR. That's totally fine. It doesn't have to be like a Chris Nolan movie. It can just be as good as you can get it. What's the best quality audio you can have in that footage right here and right now? Could you outsource some of that maybe if necessary? All of those considerations, just like, what's the best I can do right here and right now? Okay, so in this case, we're talking about content. So you could also, again, demonstrate current and past projects. So what are the best things that you're working on right now? What are the best things that you've done in the past? What are the most high profile projects that you've worked on? What are the sort of the highest cachet projects that you've worked on, so that you can kind of get, I guess, the most clout for your mixing and mastering. I'm not talking about being a clout chaser, but when it comes to business, you kind of want to leverage the clout that you do have to make cash. So never reach outside of yourself at the expense of building right here where you are. So like they said in the Bible, about to quote the Bible, build a house on the rocks, not the sand. I'm going to read Matthew. It's 7:24-27. So everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. So you want to be the mix engineer, the master engineer, the studio owner who builds his house, who builds his studio, who builds the foundation of his business on the rock. The rock is building here right now. The strong foundations, really, really solid, good follow-ups, the best content that you can possibly give. The sand is hopes and dreams of some future that will never come because you'll never build to it. All of those people that you look up to, Chris Hort-Alge, Jason Joshua, all of these like Serban, like all these guys, they bootstrapped. They worked with the best that they could do right here and now. And they weren't wishing and hoping and waiting for some future that will never come and trying to build something in that imaginary future. It doesn't exist, okay? So that's the same thing. Basically, you want a sophisticated outreach system where you have stages and deliberate follow-ups for each stage and a strong CRM, which is a customer relationship management system. And I say that for some of you who don't know that, who don't come from like the marketing background, kind of like I do. Yeah, you want to have like a really, really solid system so you know that like which stage that each prospect is in. You want to have like a stage that they're in the conversation. You want to have sufficient follow-ups. And I mean a lot of follow-ups. Some people maybe, I followed up with people. You did one follow-up. And that was through the whole conversation, let alone each stage. Each stage should have a specific amount of follow-ups that you're doing. Are you doing that? If not, you're not serious about building your business. You're not really, really serious about building your business because you're leaving so much money on the table. You're leaving so many projects on the table because you're just not serious about following up with people. Like, so simple. It's so simple, but so many people overlook this. So many people are just not making content for inbound leads. And even inbound, like that means like people coming to you. Even when you DM people, if you're doing more outbound stuff, say early on, when you don't have as much of a castle, so to speak, as much of an empire, well, it's totally fine because when you DM people, they'll still have something to check out. So you want to be building inbound. You want to be building content, short form, kind of mid-long form, and just really putting yourself out there. You want to know which stage each prospect is at, right? So treat your studio business like a damn Fortune 500 company. I want to see spreadsheets. I want to see, value charts and like a real understanding. Taking it absolutely seriously, not just saying like, oh, well, this kind of industry, it's not really like that. Like, why? It just means you're doing things inefficiently. Of course, communication is a big part of it, and real human communication is a big part of it, but that's a part of every industry at some level, right? So rather than treating each prospect as a serious potential client, many mix engineers will just be on to the next one, do no proper follow-ups. This is like digging for gold, but only swinging on each part of the mine once. It's like a crackhead approach. You're like, no, what's the next one? I need to prospect over here. Like, you're not digging and taking it seriously. Like, have you seen that meme where the guy's like digging for the diamonds and he like stops right before? Well, it's like that. It's not even like that. It's like doing it once and not even getting there. You got to dig, and you got to treat each person kind of with respect and treat them like they could be your next client. Really treat them like that. Don't just be like, I sent my DMs to like a bunch of strangers and it's like you're treating them kind of like robots or like automatons. No, that's a real person and they might not reply to you. That's fine. You might never do business with them, but treat them as if they could be the most interesting client or the best client that you had this month or this 6 months or this year, right? So I would actually argue, by the way, that crackheads do fight harder than this. That if they want crack, they'll really go get cracked, right? So it's not just about quantity, it's about quality. It's about really digging for that and really getting the most out of each prospect. Okay, so let me quote some more from that section from Wallace Wattles' book. Act now. There is never any time but now, and there will never be any time but now. If you are ever to begin to make ready for the reception of what you want, you must begin now. And your action, whatever it is, must most likely be in your present business or employment, and must be upon the persons and things in your present environment. You cannot act where you are not. You cannot act where you have been, and you cannot act where you are going to be. You can act only where you are. Do not bother as to whether yesterday's work was well done or ill done. Do today's work well. Do not try to do tomorrow's work now. There will be plenty of time to do that when you get to it. Do not try by occult or mystical means to act on people or things that are out of your reach. Do not wait for a change of environment before you act. Get a change of environment by action. You can so act upon the environment in which you are now as to cause yourself to be transferred to a better environment. Hold with faith and purpose the vision of yourself in the better environment, but act upon your present environment with all your heart and with all your strength and with all your mind. So if you want consistent, high quantity and high quality clients for your audio production studio, click the link in the description right now to see if you qualify for a free discovery call. It would be with me or a member of my team. So we'll just have a quick chat to see where you're at. And if we can help you, we'll rough up a plan to get you into a position where you have more projects than you can handle. So I'm excited to chat with you. Click the link right now if you're interested. If not, I'm not going to cry about it. But on that note, until next time.